I'm Parker and Captain Tommy.
And I'm Josh.
Hey, Pauline. I'm John Henry.
I'm a baby.
Who are you playing, Mark? The machine salesman. Okay, go ahead and begin.
When Pollyanna arrived in this world, the moon moved in front of the sun for 5 full minutes. Her parents took this to mean that Pollyanna would be truly special.
You are so fine, son, we got the world. Try! There's nothing you can't do.
Pollyanna believed her mama. When other little girls played with their dollies, Pollyanna practiced pounding nails into wood scraps from her papa's shop. While her cousins had tea parties, Pollyanna pitched horseshoes with her papa. My pretty Polly, how you can pound a nail and pitch a horseshoe, you make me so proud.
With all that pounding and pitching, Polly grew to be one strong young lady. Pretty, too. Fellows would come calling. But it wouldn't take long for those unsuspecting young men to decide that anyone who could pitch a game like Polly Ann would not make a good housewife. One hot day, Polly was about to start a new fence down the road. Just as she was fixing this to set the gatepost, up sauntered a young man as handsome as the night and looking twice as strong.
Looks like you could use some help, miss.
Polly Ann looked the young man square in the eye, hoisted her hammer, and set that post with one blow.
Thanks, but I'd rather enjoy setting things. Maybe you'd be kind enough to fetch me a dipper of water. It's pretty hot today.
Help yourself. What's your name?
My name is John Henry, and yours?
Polly. Where are you from? Where are you headed?
Yonder the next country, but now I am off to find the new railroad. I've been hankering to find some steel.
But you got no hammer.
I reckon I'll just have to use yours, Miss Polly Ann.
And that's how Pollyanna and John Henry committed to courting. It only took 2 games of horseshoes to see that they were fairly matched. John Henry suggested that they finish the new fence together. By the time they set the 3rd post, they were in love. By the 7th post, they were engaged. By the time the last post was pounded into place, the wedding date was set. After the wedding, John Henry was ready to move on.
It's time to find the railroad, Polly Ann. We'll have a fine honeymoon on our way.
John Henry and Polly Ann headed west until they came to the Big Bend Tunnel of the Cheapskate and Ohio Railroad. Hearing the men hammering and singing as they worked made John Henry eager to join them. It didn't take long for him to find the boss.
Captain Tommy, I would surely like to sign on a steel driving man.
I don't know about that. That's a mighty big job. I don't even have a hammer.
I've got hers.
Girl's hammer? What kind of man is he? Just to prove that he could do the job, Pollyanna gave over her hammer and stood in as John Henry's shaker, setting each spike in place for John Henry to hit. In no time, she was calling for a bucket of water to cool down that fast-moving hammer. You're hired. You'll get $1 a day, a house to borrow, and vitals. You can start right now. John Henry and Pollyanna settled down, happy as fleas on a dog. Before long, Pollyanna and John Henry had a little one, John Henry Jr. They put every spare penny into the cookie jar for the day when they could have their own place. Then one day, a man came along bragging about a newfangled machine called a steam drill.
This machine never stops. It can do the work of 20 men. Just try it out, Captain Tommy. You won't regret buying it.
I have a hard time believing your claims, but I'll tell you what. How about a race between the machine and my best natural born machine? John Henry? If John Henry wins, you give me that machine and $200. If the machine wins, I'll buy it from you.
Sounds fair enough. If your natural-born steel driver is willing.
John Henry, I'll give you $100 if you can beat that machine.
You don't have to talk me into it. If that machine takes over where our hard-working, natural-born folks like me doing to find jobs.
They set the day for the contest, and people from 100 miles away came to watch.
John Henry, I know you know what you got to do this, but I will at least the same if anything happens to you.
Polly Ann, a man ain't nothing but a man Polly's got to do his best. I'll beat the machine. Just you wait and see. That $100 can buy us our own place.
The contest began at the first steam powered machine pulled ahead, but John Henry just grabbed a hammer in his other hand and worked harder and faster. He sang as he worked, knowing he could beat that machine. Every hour, they had to call in a new shaker to keep up with all the spikes John Henry drove. The machine worked hard too, but after 8 hours, it began to shake just a little. John Henry just kept driving with both hammers, but he was getting weary, and there were no shakers left. Polly Ann pushed past the man in the tunnel and took over as the shaker.
Don't think you're going to it. You're a natural born steel dynamite.
Polly kept setting those spikes as her eyes burned from the dust and smarted from tears at watching the man she loved drive those spikes. Finally, during the 9th and last hour, the machine began to overheat. Polly Ann and John Henry just kept setting and driving. Come on, John Henry, don't give up. You can do it.
Time's up. The machine wheezed and died. John Henry began to drop the hammers, but Polly Ann took both his arms in with hers and brought them down together on the last 2 spikes. The crowd listened as that one last furious ring of the hammers echoed throughout the tunnel, and then quiet spikes. They also saw that he lay on the ground. Polly Ann was holding him in her arms with her tears washing the dust from his face.
Did we win, Polly Ann? You earned it. You're gonna buy that place with your $100. Just give me a cool drink of water and I'll be ready to move on my fine Polly Ann.
But before anyone could fetch him a drink, he had moved on forever. Polly Ann picked him up and carried him outside the tunnel and right to their little home. A few days later, she and Junior buried John Henry on the hillside with her hammer in his hand and a steel rod across his breast. The clouds moved across the sun for 5 whole minutes, and the earth trembled as if a train were roaring down the tracks.
Polly Ann stayed on for a while, working to complete that tunnel. Some days she'd drive steel, other days she'd be a shaker. But memories of John Henry became too much for her. She took that $100 plus all of her cookie jar savings and headed west with Junior. They got that place, and every time she set a fence post with her new hammer, she'd think about her natural-born steel-driving man and tell their son how his daddy beat a newfangled machine.
All right, thank you.